Yay! Hello! We have got the computer just a little bit further away from us today, so we can't see whether it went live or not, but there's yellow box there now I can see in the corner. So we're all good. That's the point, actually. We're going to see comments and someone will go and sit there. Yep, we'll go and read them in a minute. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's awesome being together. This is our last webinar together because I've only got another week and a bit left in Hobart, and then I'm back up on the Gold Coast. In two different states, anytime in the future. I don't know when the next one will be. Yeah, we've actually got a really busy February. We're on Fiji, no family holiday / work holiday. Yeah, we won the grand prize in the Fiji incentive trip for doTERRA. Yeah. We're really excited, but we did book in a family holiday and stuff like that. So that's in February, and then manager off to the Philippines for a conference in March. So we're not quite sure when we're going to do another webinar, but we will try our best. We always manage to fit everything in. It's crazy sometimes. So I'm going to grab the computer. I'll say hi to a few people, and Joe will do that. And while Joe's saying hi to a couple of people, she'll be all the out of the background. We will. I just want to tell everyone a couple of things. I've got a little message here. So, need to turn our oven on, but I know in the instructions you had it said turn it on and preheat it to 180. I want you to ignore that. So if you have turned your oven on, turn it off and let it cool down. Maybe leave the door open slightly and let it cool down. Because we want to sterilise the jars. If your jars are already sterilised, then ignore what I'm saying and just turn on speaking. Guys, I'm just wondering if you can hear me. So they're saying the sound is really bad and it's really hard to understand. But I'm wondering, I have a feeling it's coming through the computer, not the microphone. So just let me know if you can hear me a little bit better because I'm obviously closer to the computer. Yeah, lots of people are saying the sound's really bad. But yeah, we're both glitchy. Not clear voices, both sounding bad. It's actually quite windy in Tassie at the moment, and I know my TV was flickering earlier from the wind. But I'm wondering if it's something to do with it. Some people are saying it's better, but still glitchy. Let me just see if I can get this. What's yours called? Road. Just trying to see. A little bit better, not good though. In and out, lots of static, not clear. Let's see if this helps a little bit. I have just changed the settings. Let us know where you're from, guys, and if you are. How am I going to do this? I'll come and stand here so you can see me. No, you can't. Right. You can see the side of my head a little bit. Oh, that's much better. Excellent. Much better, much better, much better. Okay, great. Cool, because we've got the microphone in now. We didn't have it set properly. That's better. Lots of people saying that's better. Awesome. So we've got Sue and Cheryl and Tracy, 200% better. Yay, that's fixed. Woohoo. All right, so just in case you didn't hear me before Joe continues, is turn your ovens off if you have already turned them on. If you've sterilised your jars, leave it on. It's fine. It's just that when we sterilise the jars, we don't want to put them into an oven that's at 180 degrees because they might explode. So if you have got your oven on, sterilize your jars, turn your oven off. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Yeah. Yes, lots of people. Woo, Adelaide, there's people from Adelaide and Canberra. Oh, so many people in Adelaide had trouble getting cream. Yeah. Pure cream. I don't know, are there dairy farms in Adelaide? I'm assuming there are. I would imagine so. It's really weird. Okay, what we're going to do tonight, guys, is I'll just give you a bit of housekeeping as well. With the webinar, to get the best webinar experience, do try and kick anyone off the internet. Like if they're watching Netflix or streaming through Xbox or they're even on their phone, it does interfere with the internet, obviously, and your webinar your internet speed, which will then interfere with the webinar. And the
4 dishes. We're going to go really slow because we did want this webinar to be back to basics.
Yeah.
Great for beginners. Great if you've got a Thermomix for Christmas. And
who got a Thermomix for Christmas? Comment in the chat group if you got a Thermomix just recently, like in the last maybe 6 months even. And this webinar is definitely for you. But it's also for everybody. Like, there's lots of people that haven't made ice cream or haven't ever made jam, and it's so easy. So it's for everyone. But we decided that with the influx of posts that we saw, I got a Thermomix for Christmas, or mine arrives in 2 weeks, or etc., that we thought we'd do a back to basics webinar.
Yeah. And it's good sometimes because we lose our mojo. Like even us, we go, oh, I really need to get in the kitchen cooking. And you kind of feel like you go through those little periods where your mojo just goes. So we're like, right, back to basics. Let's get this done. Lots of people saying they couldn't get cream. So you can use thickened cream. It just has additives in it. So yeah, that's why we like pure cream.
Or it has some unknowns. Just on that, I haven't got the butterfly.
Jackie got a Thermomix just before Christmas. And, Danielle said, I wouldn't miss a webinar if I didn't have to. I wouldn't miss a webinar if I didn't have to, regardless of a seasoned Thermi owner or not.
I just wanted to go my butterfly.
And Sonia's mojo's out the window. All right, let's get cracking. We're going to make 4 dishes. We're going to make the pizza dough first. So if you haven't already, which you wouldn't have, because how would you know we're making pizza dough first? You're not mind readers. I want you to grab your baker's flour, your sugar, your salt, chia seeds if you're using them. We're going to put some Vital Veggie powder in our pizza dough. So if you have any of this, grab this out. And if you don't have any, then it is on our website for sale. We'll talk about this in a minute. We want you to get out your yeast, and we need water, but not the cold water that's in the fridge. We're just going to use tap water for this one. So
on that note, Jo's moving ahead a bit fast. So, okay, before we making this, we need you to do a couple of things first in preparation for recipes later. So, yes. So we need you to put cold water in the fridge. There's currently a heat wave going through Australia. It's something like 30. Well, I know Perth was 41. I know Canberra today was 39. Or
Brisbane was thereabouts today.
Well, maybe not in Brisbane. But we know it's hot around the country at the moment, and tap water isn't cold water. So when we make our butter, you need to wash it off in cold water. So most of the time in winter, that's not so bad out of the tap. But at the moment, the water out of the tap's not nice and really cold. So if you can grab a big jug, pop about 1 litre or as big a jug as you can find in the fridge. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. I know that I had to rearrange my shelf to find room for my water that's in the fridge. So we'll allow for that. So if you can do that really quickly, that would be the best place. We'll start with that. And then that will be nice and cold, or colder, ready to make the butter later. While that's doing that, we'll wash and get our jars in the oven before we go on to making the pizza dough.
Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, totally. We did talk about this. We did talk about this prior to the webinar, but out.
No, she just likes to talk and take over. So,
see my eye.
Need to slow down. All right. So if everyone can let us know when they've got their water in the fridge, and I'm just going to wash the jars over here, and I'm just going to pop them in the oven. So
a couple of questions in here when you're ready.
Okay. So if your oven was at 180, now I said this just before, to turn it off and open your door and let it cool right down, because we don't want you putting jars into the oven at 180 degrees. So if that is the case and you followed the instructions, which we know we made a little boo-boo, turn your oven off, open the door. By the time you wash your jars, they're going to be hot anyway because you've used really hot water. It should be okay to put in the oven. And then I would just turn it on to 100 like what we're doing now to sterilise our jars. So water in the fridge, and we'll sterilise and wash our jars. So I'm just going to do ours, and Jo will answer some questions.
Lots of people are asking if spelt flour will work for the pizza dough, and yes, it will 100% work. I use spelt flour a lot, and it does dry out the pizza dough. It's not as good as baker's flour. Nothing is as good as baker's flour when it comes to bread. But yes, spelt flour will work. You just have to make sure you let it rise really well and you'll get a nicer dough. And people are asking for, will a gluten-free flour work? And it's not going to work as well. You can't get that elasticity, is that the word, in a gluten product like dough. You could definitely give it a go. Like I have used sorghum flour before and buckwheat flour, and it just goes brittle and breaks. But we ate it, but it wasn't as nice. So yeah, definitely spelt will be fine. And you could give a gluten-free flour a go, but just don't expect the same results as we're going to get with the baker's flour. Yeah, plain flour would be much better, not self-raising flour. You don't want self-raising flour. If you have run out of baker's flour, just use plain flour. And you can see who is the big sister and in control.
Yes, thank you.
She's proud of that. That wasn't a compliment.
Well, I'm taking it as a compliment.
And so it begins, civil rivalry.
And it's my kitchen, so you'll do as you're told.
Oh, God. Rightio. Okay, so Chase has washed these up.
Yeah, so pop your jars upside down like yay, and we will put them in. My oven is cold. So if you missed it before, I'm really nervous that someone's going to put their jars in at 180 degrees and they're all going to explode. So turn your oven off if it is at 180 degrees, leave the door open for a few minutes, and then put your jars in. And if not, pop them in at, the shelves are on.
Yay, Kylie's doing it with her 8-year-old son. Hello. Guys, if your raspberries are frozen, that's fine.
Yep.
You can make this recipe with frozen raspberries or fresh raspberries or defrosted frozen raspberries. It'll be fine. Jackie's a big sister too, with 3 sisters. I bet you're a lot nicer than my big sister.
No, I'm nice. Anyway, right.
Are you allowed to move on
No,
now?
just want to make sure everyone's cold water's in the fridge for anyone that came in just a few minutes ago, and that you've washed and sterilised your jars, and they're in the oven, heating up slowly to 100 degrees.
All right, righty, yes, when we're ready, I'm going to jump out of the picture. Tracy's going to take over even more and make the pizza dough with you.
I'm a better cook.
Your big sister is awesome, Joe.
Yeah, thank you. All right, pizza dough. Now, I'm going to double this recipe. I don't know why I have the butterfly because we're not using that to make the pizza dough. I'm going to double this recipe because one batch of it really only makes one family pizza. So you can double along with me, or you can just make a single batch if you want to. Now, just so you know, people are probably wondering, well, are we going to top it and actually cook it and then eat it? No. What we're going to do is we're going to make the dough, and then we're going to flatten it out onto our trays, and we're going to just partially cook the dough. And then we're just going to pop that in the freezer as, you know, our round pizza shapes, so that later this week, next week, whenever, Friday night when you can't be bothered, you can just put your toppings on and your dough and your base is already partially cooked. All right, doubling the recipe or single recipe is fine. If that's the only ingredients you've got, not a problem. But I'm going to double it so that I've got plenty for later on in my week. So we want, we want 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to call out the doubled ingredients. Is that okay with everyone? I think that should be fine. Or do you want to call out the single ingredients?
Call out the normal ingredients, and then people can double it if they want to.
Okay. I'll call out the normal ingredients, but bearing in mind I'm doubling everything, so I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast. So 1 teaspoon of dried yeast. But because I'm doubling, I'm putting 2. And we've got 1 teaspoon of sugar.
And guys, I'm going to write the ingredients into the comments.
Now I'm putting the sugar in with the yeast, and then I'm going to put the water in, and then we're going to cook that off for a couple of minutes. Get my spoon to go back down where it was. All right, now we want just some lukewarm water,
And I'm just going to grab that out of the tap because it should be lukewarm. 150 grams. So what I'm actually going to do is use a jug. Oh, nice. My puppy dog's on the floor over here asleep. Get a nice. So 150 grams, or if you're doubling like me, oh, cancel, don't want to shut down. The joys of technology. Sometime today it will turn back on. All right, so if you're doubling like me, 300 grams or 150 if you're making a single recipe. Now, we're just going to cook that off for about 1 to 2 minutes. So we'll just set it for 2 minutes to start off with, and then we'll check it. 37 degrees, just on speed 1, 1.5, 2 if you're risky. It'll be fine as long as it's stirring effectively. So while that's cooking, are there any other questions, Jo?
No, but you can tell everyone how sugar and yeast.
Okay, you can speak louder. Don't have to whisper. I'll let you talk. Okay, so she just said, no, but you could tell everyone how sugar and yeast interact, etc. So basically, I don't know the science behind it, but what I do know is that sugar and yeast work really well together and they help everything go frothy. How do you say it, Jo? She can't say frothy. And so it helps your yeast, what's the word? Activate. So I put it in at this step. Some people put it in when they put the flour in. I just think, why not put it in now? It's going to help it activate. It's going to help it dissolve as well in the 37-degree temperature of water. And that's what we were looking for. So if there's no questions, Jo's typing madly over there.
Just about the handy tile.
Oh, yeah. So people are probably wondering, don't pull your machine around the bench. They're sitting on a little tile. I don't want to take it off, but I might have another one I can show you. Let me grab it out. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't. I think it's out in the front lounge. Basically, they're just a little square tile, but underneath the whole lot is covered in felt. They're not just little dots or anything. It's a big sheet of it on the bottom. And we get them from a lovely lady called Lynn, and she's from the Handy Tile, and Handy is H-A-N-D-I. But if you look her up on Facebook, you'll find her. She's really lovely, has given us tiles to give away before. My family normally sits in the corner over the back here where the petal diffuser is, and because it's in the corner, I can just pull it in and out, and it's great. Really great for that. So moving right along, now we want to add.
People's machines to turn off as well.
Okay, I will do.
Just guys, let us know when you're up to where Tracy's up to. Just pop a yes in the comments, and then we'll keep going.
Now I'm behind my baker's flour in bulk, as you can tell, in this whopping big container here. So it's 250 grams of baker's flour. However, I am doubling it. Like I said, so I'm adding 500 grams. And 500 grams would work in either a 31 or a 5. It wouldn't. A 31 would manage just fine. I have doubled this. I have a 31 as well, and that is perfectly fine if you're worried about that. So, what did I say? 250 grams, unless you're doubling it, 500. All right. Oh, nearly 20 more grams for me. 500. Okay, or 250 if you're only doing a single. Then I add in some chia seeds. So this is totally optional. I like them in it. They go nice and crunchy and
I know they're really good for you, so I just add them in as much as I can. I figure why not? Kids don't seem to notice they're in there, and they're getting a whack of good stuff. So as much or as little as you like, really. I've put 4 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon, whatever takes your fancy. And I'm going to add in some of the vital veggie powder. So this is basically dehydrated whack of veggies. So there's on the front here, over 3 kilos of fruit and veggies in every single tub. For those that don't have it, and I know lots of you guys do have it, we sell it on our website, like Joe said before. In here, there is stuff like pumpkin and carrot, mango, tomato, broccoli, and apple, all organic, and it's just all all dried into a powder. So I don't know, can you see that, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it tastes a bit like sweet potato. Like if you dip your finger in and taste it straight out of the jar, it tastes like sweet potato, like a sweet flavour like sweet potato. I know Joe's daughter Eva loves it just sprinkled over crackers or on popcorn. She actually has it on her cheese on toast. I've added it to everything I can think of. I've mixed it, stirred it through tomato sauce before the kids dip their food in it, like if we're having dippy eggs. Mine are teenagers now, I don't need to sort of worry as much, but when they were littler, I would add it into scrambled eggs, baked beans, curries, stir fries, veggie bolognese, lasagna, pretty much whatever I could get away with adding it into, quiches, egg and bacon pies, those sorts of things. So it's a really great way to hide a big boost of veggies into your kids' diet. So have a think about that, and it might be something you might want to buy if you haven't already. And I'm sure that if there's people that already have it, they're probably commenting, it's great.
Yeah, Tony else said love the vital veggie powder.
Yeah. All right, so we're just going to need this now. So hopefully everyone's on a little bit about that. And we are just going to knead this now. With dough, you can't over knead it, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to set it for 5 minutes. But anywhere up to 10 is great. So it just depends on how long you have. I know that there are times when I've been really busy and I haven't kneaded it for 2 minutes and it's still been okay, but I wouldn't want to have left it eaten it the next day, for example. So the longer you knead it, the longer your bread will stay fresh or your dough will stay fresh. Obviously there's no preservatives, so it's not going to stay fresh forever, but it sort of lasts longer. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, that's kneading away. So at home, pack away everything you don't need anymore. Don't walk too far from your machine because you don't want it to bounce off the bench. So I'm okay with mine here. I'm quickly back to it. And unless there's questions, Joe, I'll pack away some stuff in my kitchen, pack away at home so that it's not, you're not leaving your kitchen in a mess. And we've got 5 minutes to 4.5 now left of kneading time. Are there any questions, Joe?
No questions.
Everyone's busy? All right, well, I'm going to whack this away so I don't need it anymore. So what else? We'll get our bowl oiled as well, and we will check our sterilising jars as well. But yeah, don't walk too far from your machine. You don't want it to fall off the bench.
Okay. Couple of questions. Does the veggie powder change the colour of the dough? It will slightly. It'll make it, it depends how much you put in as well. I put probably triple to what Tracy's just put in there, so my dough will go a bit orange. But yeah, hers doesn't look too, you wouldn't notice it at all. And there was one more question.
By the time it bakes golden, don't notice it anyway because it's baked golden.